Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And I'm gonna be following up on my yesterday's video, and I finished cedarwood cabin, and I'm completely in love with that. I finished it. I had me in a flippin' chokehold. There was a lot of twists and turns because they had held her captive when I was reading it yesterday, where I left off yesterday, and they wouldn't let her go, and she was trying to escape, but they couldn't let her go because they're obsessed with her. Like, yeah. Anyway, so at this point, she tried to run away. She got really close, even. Like, I was even shocked myself. She was able to crawl out of the window and go into the garage and get a bike. And she drove away, and I was shocked at this point. And then she couldn't. She literally couldn't. She got into a crash, so she flipping crashed the bike. Even though she wasn't really good, she only drove the bike once, so I can understand that. But she crashed, and you can imagine Linka and Dax were pissed at her, and she had to suffer a punishment. Um, they branded her with the letter F, and that's a point that with that they tied her up to a tree with rope, really tightly, by the way, and they covered her with food because she was unconscious when they did this. And they were like, you know what, if we can't have you, then no one can. And they were like, and then they left her to die. And they were like, though the bears are gonna come the bears are gonna come eat you alive. And I was like, bro, so you just gonna let her get killed? And yeah, and then a few hours goes by. She's still trying to escape, but obviously, of course, like, the bear didn't come. But what they did was fucking messed up. They came back a few minutes later with a recording of a bear flipping sound, like, on their phone. And then this girl is flipping terrified. And they're like, if you ever think about doing anything like that again, you better watch out. So at this point, and then they flipping abuse her, right? They take her to uh the barn, and they flipping chain her up, and Linka had made a toy, if you know what I mean. Made a flipping toy out of wood. Yeah, a wooden toy. I know, unbelievable. I guess you can call it a dildo, I guess. But like, they don't really specify what kind of toy it is, you know. But he made it out of wood, and they kind of torture her for that. And she's like, "No, no, you're not gonna break me." Yeah, dude. They What did they do? They broke her. They broke her. I mean, she had a good 10 minutes, like a good 10 minutes of fighting back and what you call, like, acting strong and tough. But I think at the end of the day, the amount of times they used the toy on her and the amount of times they like fucked her, uh they she was tired, her body was exhausted. And at this point, she just gave up. She was like, you know what, this is my situation, I can't do anything about it. And the brothers kind of knew that, she was done fighting, because like 3 weeks had gone by and she hadn't like tried to escape. She was done. After, I think that after that day incident, and after her being abused by them, she was like, I'm done fighting. She wasn't happy about it, she wasn't into it or whatever. She didn't try to have sex with them after that. Like, she didn't willingly, do it. But she was just like, you know what, fine. And they kind of surprised her. Like, she took like a long bath, and they were like, since you've been a good girl and everything, we're gonna give you a treat. And they said they were gonna take her to town, but like they're gonna take her to town, and she's gonna pick out a dress so they can have a date night. And obviously, with warning, like, don't try and do shit, don't try and escape, because we're gonna find you. So it's fine. She's not even thinking about that. I mean, it did cross her mind, but she didn't do anything. They got to the mall. I want to say mall, but it's a small town. So they got to the store, and she found this really cute dress. And they took the brothers waited for her outside and said, "Don't try and escape. We are right behind this door." And she tried on the dress, and it was perfect. She loved it. It was a red dress, nice dress. And she took it off, and then she put on her normal clothes. She got out, and this is when she saw Gina. Gina was the ex fuck buddy of Laika. So, and obviously they started talking back shit. They said hi, but after she left, she heard them talking, and they were like, "You whore," because obviously at this point they knew that she's flipping smashing with Laika and Dax like at the same time. And she's like, "You whore," whatever. And then she says, no wonder so and so, no wonder Johnny killed her father. And Johnny is Johnny is her boyfriend. And I was completely shocked when I saw this. I was like, what the fuck? And the reason why he did this was because Flora didn't want to sleep with him in the first place. Like in the beginning of the book, she was not interested in him, and that Flora actually spat in his face, saying no to his offer. So I was kind of shocked. So okay, so she says no, and then you go ahead and kill her father. Okay, that's one way. I mean, that's one way to fucking sting. But anyway, so she overhears this, and she flipping runs. Like, she runs. And she's not running out because, she's trying to escape the brothers, Linka and Dax. She literally runs because she is flipping and overwhelmed and crazy. Obviously, Dax and Lyko follow her, and they're like, "What do you think you're doing?" And he's about to explode with madness, obviously. But he looks at her face, and he's like, "Okay, this has nothing to do with escaping." And it's like, what the fuck? Okay. And then he's like, "What's wrong?" And then she obviously explains what happened inside the dress. They completely forgot about, the whole date night thing. Later that night, the men are like, "Fuck this shit. Like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna kill." They're literally gonna go and kill him. They come up with a plan. I didn't know the plan beforehand. I didn't read the plan beforehand. I literally was going into the next chapter, and I saw what was happening. So apparently they go that specific night, and they go to Johnny's house. And Johnny's like, first is Flora, who enters saying that, "Oh, I was thinking about you," acting like she wants to sleep with the guy, right? And then obviously he lets her in, like Johnny lets her into the house. And he starts kissing her, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And she's like, "Can I ask you a question? Like, why did you kill my father?" And because she wants to know, like, what happened, like, why. And he obviously tells her, "No, because you flippin', you rejected me and whatnot, whatnot." And that's when the brothers come in, and they get into a flippin' fight with each other. And actually, Flora actually uses the gun, and she shoots the first shot at Johnny. It doesn't necessarily kill him, but it gives like Dax the opportunity to actually like kill him and stuff like that. And obviously, after this whole debacle, she flipping shot someone. She's not used to killing people, obviously. Like, she's this kind, sweet child. Sweet child. And at this point, I'm just like, okay. She runs and like she kind of stops at this flipping warehouse, and boom, she's flipping bleeding out of nowhere, and she screams. I don't think it was like far from the house because they didn't really mention. She just walked, but she kind of just passes and falls to the ground, feeling like dizzy and lightheaded. She falls to the ground, and because there's blood all over her, she's having an out of body experience, you know. And then Dax and Lincoln find her, and then they realize, you know what, we need to take her to the hospital. And apparently, she was suffering. She was pregnant this whole time, but um, probably from the causes of when did like he didn't pull out and he didn't use a condom, but she didn't know she was pregnant. She didn't know, and they had to remove one of her fallopian tubes. There's a medical term for it, but like I completely forgot what it was called. Uh, but yeah, they had to remove, and obviously these men were crying at this point. I reached that point of the book, and I was like, they were crying, and they were like, obviously after they were like, I thought, they were like, we're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry. I like they were crying, and I was so flipping happy because at the same time, I think they were apologizing for when they captured her and like you know, and they said we will let you go. It won't make us happy. Like it won't make us happy. We will be sad, but if that's what you want, we will let you go. And that's when they're in the car and they basically saying, you know, if you want to go home to your house, not the cabin by the house, but to her house, to her father and her house, we will take you. Because this girl has been through too much, right? And literally, like, and literally, she's like, I want to go home. And then Dax is driving and he's like, he puts the indicator to the left, and obviously the woods is on the right side. Not obviously, but it's on the right side. And she's like, no, I want to go home to the cabin, you know, cedarwood cabin, because that's my home. I think at the same time, she just kind of realized, like, you know, if she doesn't have these two, she basically has no one. So, yeah. But they go home, and a month goes by, and these literally, she's excited because flipping, you know what? She decided, I am gonna brand you with the F sign that they branded her with, like a flipping slave. They branded her. She branded both the brothers, and you can see like the fears in the words. Like this man is scared. Like is scared. But I think at the same time, it's because like it's kind of cute. I guess it's like I think of it as a tattoo, like. But obviously, like guys, don't brand yourself. Like that's scary. Like, but like they branded each other. Like she literally did it on both of them, and Leica and Dax was totally scared. And she was like, hold still, it's gonna burn in my hair a little. And I'm like, dude, that's what you said. And that's what they said to you when they were torturing you, when they used it as a punishment on you. But I guess it shows like it's a connection of the bond, and I love the book. 10 out of 10. It was not scary at all. I don't know why people like most book talkers don't like that book. I guess that's not really like at the end of the day, it's like it is dark, but there's not a lot of like smut. There is smut, pretty good smut if I might add, but it's not like you know. So, and I don't know what my next book is. I have to see because I have a lot of books on my TBR right now. But I will definitely post on what book I will be reading next. I will probably take a day and a half for 2 days, depending on which book I decide to read. I actually wanted to finish the Parking Wrong series because I did read the first one, and I will be doing a review on that one, on those books, or on the one that I did read recently. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And bye. Love you all.